Hello everyone, it's been a very long time. I'm finally back. Yeah, as you can see. Yeah, I've got a 2-year-old here. She just turned 2. Well, there's another baby screaming somewhere nearby. That's not mine. But yeah, this girl, she cries quite a bit too. Anyway, I decided to make this video because I wanted to put together what I did to keep my performance up there and even to improve what I did in the last 2 years, and to be clear, I'm not just like got a normal job and didn't really do much house chore or looked after a baby and stuff, but I did pretty much everything at home, like cooking, washing dishes, or washing machine. Oh, that baby is really disturbing. Anyway, I did all the house chore, like washing dishes. I mean, putting dishes into the dishwasher. Oh, okay. Or just vacuum cleaning. Not much of a tidying up, but vacuum cleaning definitely. Cooking every day. Yeah, washing clothes, that kind of stuff. So I wasn't just sitting there. And of course, like changing diapers and looking after the baby most of the time while I was working as a coach, both like part-time for my team in the evening, and I had private clients too. So when it comes to time, it was a lot more flexible than someone who's working 9 to 5 kind of job, but still I did quite a bit at home. So bear that in mind. 2 years ago, so 2024, as I had, as you were born, I broke 10 hours doing Ironman. I did 9:52 in Hamburg, and I think 9:56 or 8 in Frankfurt. Anyway, under 10. So yeah, I actually did improve, although that was very at the beginning of my life with a baby. But then last year I tried to improve even better. I was quite often sick, and also when I am a Hamburg in the morning, I wasn't feeling too well. In fact, the night before, I just sweated so much. I think I had a slight infection. So yeah, I couldn't really perform too well. So yeah, no PB during Ironman. Then for the second half of the season, I shifted my focus more on doing my running 10K PB, or I tried to go under 36 minutes, which I didn't. I just did my PB, which was 36 minutes 16, I think, or 17. Yeah, so that's what I did. Anyway, now I want to share with you guys what I did and what worked and what didn't. If you can pick these as a dad, mum, or any caregiver for babies, just have a listen. And yeah, if you have your extra tips, just comment below, so we can have kind of honest opinions on what works and what's not. Sleep. So sleep was quite a bit of problem, especially when her sleeping pattern changed, or when she was sick, like that was from an infection, or even when she did the vaccine injections. Sometimes, like not always, but sometimes she couldn't really sleep well because her body was reacting, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's bad. It wasn't really like so bad, but yeah, it always affects our sleep. The babies, when babies cry, especially when they are like up to 6 months old, it doesn't matter how old they are, they sleep kind of intermittently, so parents have to take care. So for that kind of period, I just napped a lot whenever I could. Didn't matter if that was like only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I just did. Especially before my high intensity sessions, or yeah, just whenever I really whenever I needed to focus. So yeah, that helped me a lot. Obviously, when I was sleeping normally in bed, I used the earplugs, eye mask, and whatever I could to shut me down. I'm quite glad that we decided to have our baby in cot in another room. Some people prefer to have a baby on the same bed, so they can have more body contact, whatever. We decided not to, because during the day I was there most of the time for her, directly, like having body contacts. So I thought that would be okay. The time will tell, but yeah. But because of that, I could have relatively peaceful sleep once her sleeping rhythm kind of got better. She was a baby who preferred to sleep like continuously during the night, so we had luck. I'm pretty sure it's not always the case, but yeah, we had luck. Recovery, and also sort of feeding tips as well, because I found recovery quite difficult. First of all, you can't really sleep so well for the early part of the first year, I would say. Also, I couldn't really recover so well because I just kept missing food. I kept missing meals. If you don't have energy in your body, you can't really recover, or not only energy, just like protein or whatever, the building blocks of your body, you can't really recover. Vitamins, but for me especially, the carbs, or the energy source wasn't there, because I kept missing meals. So what I did was I just bought single packed bread. It's like a choco croissant thing, you get that from any supermarkets in Germany. You don't have to buy these, but whatever, you can actually have them with you wherever you go. So whenever you just realize, I forgot to eat, then you can munch on these. Of course, my choice wasn't the healthiest option, but it kind of gave me appetite to eat, because it's got chocolate. Without that, I probably just thought, I just stay hungry till the next opportunity. But At the beginning I kind of did that, but it just didn't work, so I always started carrying some sort of food energy source. That helped me a lot. I could focus way better, I could function better, especially when I have really low, extremely low sugar level. I probably not only me, of course, but you can't really focus. And when that happens, forget about doing high intensity intervals or something like that. So that's really important. Consistency is the king. But obviously when you got babies, you miss opportunities to train a lot. In winter, in average, I trained only like 4-5 hours a week. That was the max amount I could actually really fit in. And for the prep time, around 12 hours, and just before, 1 month before my main race, I am in Hamburg, I could train, I could ramp that up to 20 plus hours, but 20 plus hours I did only 1 week. But yeah, I could still keep my fitness quite well. 5 hours a week of training, that's what the WHO recommends anyway, to everyone. Young, old, doesn't matter, 5 hours a week, that's the key, that's the magic. And I think, yeah, it works for me. As long as you don't just stop and detrain too much, and if you just keep on doing, keep on moving, you don't lose your fitness so much. Of course, you lack the VO2 max and the top end. You lose the speed. You lose like really long hour endurance, like 5-6 hours plus. You lose it, but when you start training properly again, you can bring that back up quite easily. So doesn't matter even if you don't have enough time to train, like that's what you think, just try to do minimum of 5 hours a week. That's gonna make a huge difference. Of course, when you do 5 hours, it's better to optimize what to do and prioritize, and the accessibility, the good accessibility to these training sessions is absolutely crucial, because you just don't have time. I found jogging strollers really, really good. I strongly recommend you to get a nice jogging stroller. It made a huge difference. What we've have got a skateboard at the back, and we can actually skate at the back. It helped mother to recover from giving a baby a birth as well, because you have to really dig deep and push forward, and that position that really helped pelvic floor muscles. I found it's like almost like doing squats every time you just kick the board. So that helped me a lot too. Highly recommended. Mobility. It's not directly related to training with baby, but as you can see, I'm already old, 52, and as you age, you lose mobility, and that's quite important element to have a look at. In your 20s, 30s, it doesn't really matter, but from 40s and onwards, and even worse in the 50s, you feel that you lose mobility, and you always have to work on that. And yeah, it's just small things like when I was picking up baby or ducking down to be at her level, her eye level, it was like, oh, okay, when I'm not actively really doing the mobility stuff, I felt like I was losing it. Especially when you can't really recover because of lack of sleep, it really affects. That was probably one of the first things I got affected. I just started getting joint niggles and that kind of things, and mobility was quite big element. I had to be careful. So I did lots of mobility exercise. That's actually kind of works quite well when you can't train. But just when I was waiting for my daughter to fall asleep, whatever, I just made relaxing environment. Just put a yoga mat on the floor, or just anything on a carpet. I did mobility stuff and waited her to fall asleep. It worked quite well. Hello. Elasticity. It's I felt like I was losing elasticity, especially with the running, because I wasn't doing enough mileage. That really affected my running performance. What I did was I just tried to work on that by jumping. Whenever I could jump, I just jumped. That's it. But whenever you've got time standing, just jump. It really helps you, and I think that helped me to bring my elasticity back up for doing my 10k PB. Time management. I already mentioned about a jogging stroller. That's a huge time saver because you can do exercise while a baby's asleep. But it's not always the case. Luckily, when I was riding a bike indoors, she heard the noise and she always fell asleep. So I was lucky, but it's not always the case. Some of my athletes, they get up at 4 a.m. and just ride a few hours before they start going to work. So that's another way of doing that. I used to do that when I was working full time, and it worked. But obviously you have to get up early. For some people it's not possible. Like in my case, I have to work till 9:30, and the earliest I could get home was 10, and after that to eat and stuff. So getting up at 4 wouldn't have been ideal. So I didn't do that, but in theory, there's always many tricks you can use to just optimize your time. So time management is crucial. Maybe you can write down your own time management tips down there in comments. Train smart and train specifically. Being quite specific. I mean, like if you don't have much time to train, and if you have just a window of 20 minutes, go outside. Just do it. But whenever you can do something specific, just try to focus on how you can optimize that time. That's important, because you don't have much time, so you kind of need to maximize what you've got. Planning sounds kind of like strange after I talked about, you get disrupted and just maximize what you've got. But I think it was very important for me to plan my training, and I just planned everything on Training Peaks except for winter month. I did more casual training sessions, but whenever I really needed to train seriously, I planned in a way that I could actually sort of rearrange the sessions easily. And yeah, it worked. Without planning, you don't know what you've lost, what you've missed. And yeah, by having good plan in front of you or in front of a coach, you actually get to see what you've missed and what you should be doing next, the priorities. You get to see the bigger picture. So by planning your training, you get to see what your priorities are. If you're not sure what your priorities are, I strongly recommend you to get a coach like me or someone else, so they can point out what you should be doing when your plan A doesn't work. They can give you plan B, C, and for that kind of decisions, you need to know your priorities. Test. Without testing, you don't know where you're at. I don't only mean like a VO2 max test at a lab or something like that. You can just use regular interval sessions as your test. But if someone's not used to that kind of regular sessions, if someone's not really used to regular exercise, then you don't have any benchmarks. So it's quite difficult to judge where you're at and or what to prioritize. So you really have to test and know where you're at. For that purpose, I strongly recommend you to do a variety of races. Then you really get to push to your limit and you see where you are at. So yeah, I know that some people say, oh, I don't like competitive sport. It's not about just being competitive, but races are rare opportunities where you can actually test yourself up to, you can't really just run fast over 20 kilometers without stopping or without, it's just a bit different when you're really focused, motivated, because all other people around you are doing the same thing and you really push to your limit. That's a test. And yeah, if you can do that during 1K intervals or something like that, then that's okay. If you got power meter at home on a bike, then you really push yourself, then you know where you are. I know that many people are doing exercise kind of recreationally and not used to pushing the limit. And without pushing the limit, we don't really know our limit. So yeah, just do it. Put the hammer down, then you know where you're at. If you haven't really been doing any exercise and you're over 40, I don't recommend you to just put the hammer down and push the limit, because there's a chance that your body might give up in a wrong way. I strongly recommend you to do a stress test. So you just test your heart health by putting progressively more strain on your body, like aerobically. Then you get to know how healthy your heart is. Once the doctor says, okay, you're healthy enough to do some exercise, then you do some moderate exercise, put that into your routine, then push to the limit, then you're safe. But yeah, if you just do that, there's a quite big risk. So consult a doctor first. Another great point, having a race on your calendar, is that you have to sort everything out till that day, and it really forces you to think what you have to do to achieve the best possible you on that day. And yeah, just like any business, if you don't have a set date to do anything, it just doesn't happen. So again, it's part of planning. You put a race date, then you do it. Good thing is many races are done annually. You really get to see your progress or non-progress. You get to see your weakness. So yeah, just register yourself. Yeah, doesn't matter if you think you're too busy with the baby, but it doesn't matter. Just do it on a day. Just go there with the whole family and make it as a more fun thing. And trust me, when parents are having fun doing exercise, the chances your daughter or son will find it quite positive too. That's absolutely great for their future. Just to keep themselves nice and healthy. That's important. I can think of 3 things when it comes to what I really prioritized when it comes to training. I might call it the Trinity even. That's like the cardio, then the mobility, and also my brain. So these 3 things. For the cardio, I looked at what I really needed, like VO2 max, threshold, or fat max. Just I try to make it as specific as possible whenever I was doing the sessions. So yeah, for 1 hour I just focus on the VO2 max or the threshold and so on. Yeah, maybe threshold things when I had slightly more time, but yeah, that's really important. And because I didn't have much time, I try not to do, or I couldn't do really long stuff so easily. By keeping the VO2 max and threshold high, I try to get by. That's how I shaped my training towards the 10k PB at the age of 51. So yeah, just you gotta use what you've got. That's important. Mobility, it's not only about flexibility, but it's about actually using muscles and joints. And as I did flexibility training or flexibility exercise, I always try to make it into more mobility or strength training as well. Often I use strength element to trigger more neuromuscular connections, so I could actually use the muscles and joints in a desired way as possible. That's quite good for me without having much time to train, because I could always just find small window of time, like 2 minutes, just doing some mobility stuff. That kept me sane as well, because whenever I had to just hold baby till she calms down, I felt like I was wasting my time, you know, like, oh, why are you crying? And just, I can't do anything, I can't work. Then I just did mobility training while I was carrying her in my arms. That worked well. So yeah, it's good. And I gained quite a lot from that. Then the last thing, brain. Yeah, without brain sending signals, we can't really move our body, right? Just changing the mindset and trying to optimize what you've got, that helped me a lot. So yeah, when the negative thoughts takes over, then that's it. You just lose the motivation. You feel like you're doing some training, but you know, you get ruined by not being able to train consistently. Trust me, it happens, but you just have to switch your mind, the way you think, and you have to think constructively and utilize what you've got. That was accompanied with power naps. That worked a lot. So yeah, brain.